Throughout history, humanity has been ruled not just by kings and empires, but by ideas. And some of those ideas were complete lies. Lies that rewrote nations, lies that enslaved millions, lies that shaped religion, science, geography, medicine, and even our understanding of ourselves. Today, we uncover the biggest lies in history that the world believed, sometimes for centuries. Some were mistakes, others were manipulation, but all of them changed the world. Welcome to Hidden History Fact Vault. Section 1. The Flat Earth Lie. Most people today believe that medieval Europeans thought the Earth was flat, but that is a lie. For over 2,000 years, educated people knew the Earth was round. The ancient Greeks measured its circumference. Muslim astronomers refined the calculations. Medieval scholars debated size, not shape. So where did the flat Earth myth come from? From 19th century storytellers who wanted to portray the Middle Ages as ignorant and anti-science. School books repeated it, cartoons mocked it, Hollywood cemented it. A lie was born, one so widespread that even today people still repeat it as fact. Section 2. The Trojan horse actually happened, right? Everyone knows the story. The Greeks built a giant wooden horse. Trojans pulled it inside the city. Greek soldiers hid inside and opened the gates at night. But historians now believe it may have never happened. The earliest sources hint at symbolic meaning. Horse may have referred to a seismic machine, or a ship, or even earthquake god symbols. Even worse, we're not even sure Troy fell the way Homer described. But for thousands of years, the world believed this myth as fact, because great storytelling is stronger than historical truth. Section 3. Vikings wore horned helmets. You've seen them in movies, in comics, in sports logos, but Vikings never wore horned helmets. The myth was invented in the 1800s by costume designers for a Wagner opera. They wanted Vikings to look dramatic and barbaric. Archaeology shows real Viking helmets were practical, iron, rounded, and definitely not horned. But the lie was so visually powerful that it became immortal. Section 4. Napoleon was short. Napoleon Bonaparte, the tiny dictator with huge ambitions, right? Nope. Another historical lie. Napoleon was 5'6" to 5'7", normal height for his era. British propaganda intentionally portrayed him as small to diminish his image. Caricature artists shrank him in drawings. Political posters mocked his size. The world adopted the lie without question. The truth? Napoleon wasn't small, but British disinformation was huge. Section 5. Marie Antoinette said, "Let them eat cake." This quote is famous. It defines the cruelty of monarchy, except she never said it. The line appeared in political writings years before she was even born. Revolutionary propagandists needed a villain, a symbol of aristocratic arrogance. So they took a convenient quote, attached her name to it, and the world believed for centuries. A lie more powerful than truth. Section 6. The Salem witch trials were about witches. Most people think the Salem witch trials were driven by religious fanaticism alone, but deeper evidence suggests food poisoning, land disputes, gender tensions, and political power struggles were at play. Rye bread contaminated with ergot may have caused hallucinations. Families accused rivals to seize property. Girls gained sudden power by pointing fingers. The lie that society simply believed in witches. The truth is far uglier. People used fear as a weapon. Section 7. Christopher Columbus discovered America. One of the biggest lies ever told. Columbus did not discover America. Millions of people were already living there. Vikings reached the continent centuries earlier, and Columbus himself believed he found Asia. The myth was created later, when the U.S. wanted a heroic founding figure. But the reality is darker. His voyages began an era of conquest, enslavement, and genocide. But for generations, textbooks told a cleaner story. Section 8. Bloodletting cured diseases. For 2,000 years, doctors drained patient blood to cure illnesses. The lie came from ancient theories about imbalanced humors. Doctors used leeches and blades. George Washington likely died from excessive bloodletting. But because respected authorities endorsed it, the world believed. A medical lie that cost countless lives. Section 9. The Great Wall of China is visible from space. Everyone learned this in school, but astronauts agree it isn't true. The wall is long but extremely narrow, made of earth-colored material blending into the landscape. The myth likely came from a writer's speculation in the 1930s, long before spaceflight existed. Yet millions repeated it as fact. Section 10. Einstein failed math. No, he didn't. Einstein was a math prodigy. The rumor began when a journalist misunderstood Einstein's school grading system, where a higher number meant lower performance. Einstein himself laughed at the myth, but it stuck because people love the idea of a genius who started as a failure. Section 11. The Empress Dowager Cixi is often portrayed as a tyrant who destroyed China. But new research shows she was far more complex. Western journalists demonized her to justify imperialism. Many stories of her cruelty were fabricated or exaggerated. The lie survived for a century because history is written by those in power. Section 12. Medieval people didn't bathe. Not true. Bathhouses were common in medieval Europe. People washed regularly until later plagues made communal bathing risky. The myth came from later Victorian moralists who wanted to portray themselves as more refined. Section 13. The CIA invented the term conspiracy theory. A popular modern belief, but false. The term existed since the 1800s. The CIA used it in the 1960s because it already existed. But the lie persists because it fits a narrative about government manipulation. Closing. History is not just battles, kings, and inventions. It is the product of stories, some true, many false, and some repeated so often they become invisible. The lesson? Always question, always investigate, because the biggest lies in history were believed simply because no one thought to ask. If you enjoyed this deep dive into hidden truths, hit subscribe to Hidden History Fact Vault for more untold stories every week.